Anyway, I want to tell a story about when I was a young girl. I had 3 older sisters and a younger brother. And one Sabbath when we had come back from church, Mom said, get changed in some casual clothes. I'm going to take you for a little ride. And then we lived in Los Angeles, California area. And Mom drove us a little ways from there up into some hills, some rolling hills. Beverly Hills. Does anybody know who lives in Beverly Hills? Movie stars and very wealthy people. Our mouths were wide open. I mean, we had a very small home. We had never seen homes like this with pools and gorgeous yards manicured and just gorgeous things. And we were just like, wow, we didn't even know people lived in places like this. But oh my goodness, it was just wonderful to see. But then again, we thought, we have to go back to our other house now. And we thought, oh, why did you do this, Mom? Well, then she drove us to a little park nearby, got out, and we were sitting around having a picnic lunch on a blanket on the grass. And she said, you might have wondered why I drove you through those homes, those beautiful homes. Well, I wanted you to think about where you're going to go later if you're friends with Jesus now. It says in the Bible, he's preparing homes for us. And if man can make places that look like those houses, what can God do? Infinitely better. And we don't know what they'll look like, but they've got to be great. They've got to be beautiful. But the best thing will be that we'll be together with our best friend Jesus, right? I'll get to see him face to face. I'll get to give him a big hug, and I won't worry about COVID. Anyway, it's good to let our minds think about that. It touched our hearts as children, and I have never forgotten doing that with my mom and with our family. And we're told in inspired writings to let children think about the glories awaiting God's people, to picture the splendor of the new earth, and when they are charmed, tell them it will be even more glorious than their brightest imagination can portray. And I like that. I think it's really good. And really, I know there's some children here, but a lot of you are adults, and I don't want you to let that word children make your ears tune out. Because really, we're all children of God, right? It doesn't matter what age you are. You're still a child in light of eternity. So I want you to let your imaginations go too, to thinking about what heaven will be like. When Pastor Lee's dad was a little boy, little Maury, and his brother Louie and his mom and dad took a weekend off. Grandpa was a pastor, but they went away for a camping trip. How many of you like to go camping? I like to go camping, yes. They went for a rest break up into the mountains by a beautiful lake. They took their chairs down by the lake and they sat by the lake, and Grandpa said, all right, boys, we're just gonna spend some time thinking about what it would be like in heaven. And he said, I want you to think for a minute about what your home would be like. He says, we'll start with you, little Maury, because you're the littlest. And little Maury said, well, I want to be the only one living in my house. And I don't want anybody to tell me about what desserts I can and can't have and how many. And I want to have my own room. I don't want to share one with my brother. And I don't want anybody to tell me how late it is and that I need to go to bed. I want to be able to stay up as late as I can. And just some things like that, he said. Okay, well then it was little Louie's turn, and he took his turn and said some more things about what he thought his house would be like. Then it was the mother's turn, Grandma's turn. But the one we remember the most that we heard about was Grandpa's, the daddy. And he had an imagination that was just incredible. He said, well, when you come to my house, there will be 2 stately lions in front of the steps that go up, and not statue ones, real lions. And then he said, when you go inside, there'll be a waterfall off to the side, and outside there'll be a hot springs with ferns all around it that you can go out and have a nice soak in. In my bathroom, there'll be the waterfall that I can go underneath to get a shower. Down in the basement, there will be a whole window wall that is looking out at the sea of glass, so that I can see all of the sea creatures swimming by. Wouldn't that be cool? And then he said, upstairs, I would have a little loft that you could go out to and some vines on it, and you could swing out into the clouds. And then if you wanted to, I could grab another vine and I could swing down into the water and maybe catch a dolphin ride or a whale ride. That would be great. I also like to have a rainbow in my house too, but not just any rainbow. A rainbow that I could take a cup and put it underneath one of the colors. And if I wanted, I could have, if it, under the yellow, I'd have lemonade, under the grape juice, under the red, cherry juice, or if I put it underneath all of them, I could have a fruit smoothie. That'd be great. Wow. And the more he went on and on with this wonderful house, he wanted a cloud bed, and a cloud bed that he never even had to make a bed afterwards. It would just rearrange itself every day. But Grandpa's house was so amazing that little Maury and Louie, their mouths were just dropping open. And at the very end, little Maury said, "Daddy, can I come and live with you?" The little boy that wanted his own independence and his own place and everything, he decided his daddy's house sounded much better than his. And it makes me think of how we're talking this morning about going home to live with the greatest friend we have ever had. And he has wonderful things planned for us. And I just want to go. I want to do like little Maury said. I want to look up and say, "Daddy, can I come and live with you? Meet me there." I just have a few little questions I like to ask. What kind of animal would you like to talk with if you could? A giraffe, a horse, cool. All right, is there an animal or a fish that you would like to ride on? An elephant, a dolphin, good. Eagle, cool. All right, what Bible character would you like to meet if you could? David, nice. Anybody else? Moses, all right. Oh, Samson, good, all right. Okay, what question would you like to ask your angel? Okay, maybe you'd ask him about what was the scariest time you protected me. What did you protect me from that was the scariest of all? Okay, and then think about this one. What question would you like to ask Jesus? If you were on a walk with just you and him, what would you like to ask him? These are things that are good to ask yourself. Were you going to say something? If he created other worlds? Yes, good. Okay, but those are good to let our mind think about things like that, and we can think of a lot more that tie into what's it going to be like there. And I hope that you might take some time, even maybe today on Sabbath,